major Mughal victory in 1576, in which Akbar took Bengal, was followed by 4 decades of efforts dedicated to vanquishing rebels in the Badi region. 49. The initial victory was accompanied by destruction and severe violence. 61. The Mughals were opposed by the Bengalis. Akbar appointed a Hindu servant Raja Man Singh as Bengal's governor. Singh based his rule at Rajmahal, Bihar, thinking that he could administer the region beyond. 48. The Barabuian, or 12 landlords, resisted the Mughal 62 attempts to annex Bengal. The landlords were mainly Afghan and Hindu aristocrats. 49. Pratapadiya was one of the Hindu landlords among these leaders. They were led by the landlord Isa Khan, who was based in Sinargaon. Isa Khan is known for his resistance to outside rule, particularly from Delhi and Urdu-speaking soldiers. His actions were to serve as an inspiration in 1971. 62. The landlords spearheaded an extensive revolt. 62. Both the Mughals and rebels committed atrocities such as massacre, rape and looting. 49. They defeated the Mughal navy in 1584. After this, battles continued on land. In 1597 they again defeated the Mughal navy, however, Isa Khan died in the following year. The struggle against Mughal rule weakened. Man Singh, realizing the strategic value of controlling Dhaka to administer eastern Bengal, created a military base there. 62. He also realized its utility in controlling Aranakes and Portuguese influence. 49. This base became more important in the late 1500s when the Ganges started to change its course. The change in the river's course allowed the clearing and harvesting of more land. The waterways of Dhaka allowed easy movement of soldiers to various parts of Bengal. 62. In 1610 Dhaka became a provincial capital. By then several of the internationally known muslin looms had shifted to Dhaka from Sinargaon. Dhaka flourished both as an administrative and handloom center. 62. The Bengal region was historically an international hub of various activities. Merchants, pilgrims and voyagers traversed Bengal to travel to Nepal and Tibet. Bengal's waterways were a place where various peoples interacted. In 1346 the Moroccan voyager Ibn Battuta followed the trade route through Sri Lanka when he traveled to Bengal from the Maldives in 1346. 63. In the 1300s Bengal traded its paddy for cowries from the Maldives. Evidence from the 1500s demonstrates that rice grown in Bengal was eaten as far as eastern Indonesia and Goa. Bengal also exported other materials and food products at the same time. Bengali traders dominated trade with Southeast Asia. 64. Chinese merchants in the 1400s and 1500s introduced gold, satin, silks, silver and porcelain. 64. A European traveler in 1586 reported that the quality of the cotton textiles produced in Sinargaon was better than in other parts of the subcontinent. These fabrics were sent to international markets. 65. Under the Mughal Empire, which had 25% of the world's GDP, Bengal Suba generated 50% of the empire's GDP and 12% of the world's GDP. 66. Bengal, the empire's wealthiest province, 66, was an affluent region with a Bengali Muslim majority and Bengali Hindu minority. According to economic historian Indrajit Ray, it was globally prominent in industries such as textile manufacturing and shipbuilding. 67. Dhaka was renamed to Jahangirnagar by the governor for Jahangir, the emperor. 49. The governor managed to defeat and make the chieftains accept Mughal authority. 49. During Mughal rule, Dhaka's architecture was enriched. In 1678 Aurangzeb's son started the construction of the Lalbagh fort, which encloses the tomb of Nur Jahan's grandniece. 62. Surviving Mughal buildings are the Bara Katra, Chota Katra and the Hussaini Dalan, a Shia mosque. 68. During the Mughal rule many civilian and military administrators entered Bengal. A lot of these officials received land grants and became domiciled. Despite the Hindu domination of the landed class, Muslims formed a crucial section and maintained possession of significant land grants until the land reforms after 1947. 69. The form of Bengal's government had been less rigid than the ones in other parts of the Mughal Empire. The Mughals asserted a centralized form of rule on top of the differing local administrative structures. Consequently, local rulers administered control in the rural areas. These zamindars were autonomous and were a secular elite. 70. Differentiated from the general populace by their authority. 71. Surnames in modern Bangladesh such as Chowdhury, Khan, Sarkar and Talukdar originate from the names of ranks in the Mughal elite. 61. This elite functioned alongside the Mughal officials. The latter's duty was to keep charge over tax collection. The Diwan was the most important tax officer and was directly selected by the Mughal ruler. Each Mughal conquest in Bengal was accompanied with the establishment of a Thana garrison for the purpose of maintaining peace. After that, the territory would be merged into the empire's administrative system. In the empire's system, each province would comprise several regions, called Sarkar, which in turn would be made up of subdivisions called Parganas. The lowest tier in the system was the Mauza revenue village. 61. The agricultural borderland during Mughal rule in the 1500s started moving towards the eastern portion of Bengal. The region's agricultural productivity increased. To increase their revenues, the Mughal administration promoted forest clearing and wet rice farming. The officials gave land grants to entrepreneurs who were willing to give taxes in exchange for rights over the lands. The colonists required labor, and this was advantageous for the religious elite. 72. Most communities in the region were boatmen and fishermen on the margins of society who were nominally Hindu but in reality had very weak ties to Hinduism. These were the laborers who cultivated the rice and would make up the bulk of peasantry in eastern Bengal. 73. Land grants would require the construction of a shrine, and the colonists would gather settlers around these shrines. Society was ordered around the shrine. New communities would engage in forest clearing and cultivation. Locals either merged with these communities or moved away while keeping trading contacts with the rice cultivators. 72. The Mughal government had no attitude of encouraging Islam in the region, and Hindus made up many of these pioneers who had government backing. But most of the pioneers were Muslim. A large number of them were Purs. Richard Eden asserts that Islam was understood to be linked with the government-accepted acquisition of land in eastern Bengal, which had only weak connections with Hindu civilization. The traditions and rituals of eastern Bengal, mosques and shrines blended together. Islam spread in Bengal because of its localization. Islamic agencies were inserted into the contemporary cosmology, were then associated with local divinities, and eventually the Islamic agencies took over the local culture. 72. Local Hindus, in response to the conversion, closed ranks and became more conservative, expelling those who were polluted by contact with Muslims. This increased the number of